To anybody returning, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome to my video. Right, whilst the 997's running in, there's nothing really anything to report on that, so I have gone and bought another 911. Well, say bought, I've acquired another 911. In fact, it was an abandoned one that I abandoned about 6 years ago. I left it just parked on the drive because, well, it wouldn't start. Anyway, as you can see from these rather deteriorated lights, it's or rather deteriorated fried eggs, it's a 996 and it's tatty. Let's have a look how tatty. We've got cracked paintwork, we've got deteriorated lights, we've got missing paintwork, we've got scratches, lots of scratches, we've got fading lacquer, no mirrors, we've got cobwebs, we've got bubbling paint, more cobwebs, very dirty paintwork, we've got seals that are shrinking and leaving the bodywork, we've got an awful lot of paint missing on the spoiler, and yeah, it's a Carrera 4, and look at that dent. More paint issues, very dirty paintwork, more lacquer coming off, another missing mirror, and yeah, scratches, plant life. Oh, just look at it, and yeah, green interior. I think it's called Neophyte green. It's a bit Marmite. You either love it or you hate it, but it really does work with the silver. Although some people probably don't think so. And yeah, as you can tell from that gear stick there, it's a Tiptronic. Right, now the big question is, I've got to get this thing running again. Or can I get this thing running again? Once that's the engine in, why did it not stop running? It screeched. It never started again. Wouldn't even try to turn over, just a big clunk. Sounded like metal scraping on metal before it stopped. So yeah, we're going to have a look at the engine. The question is it a coffee table or is it salvageable? I'll start by getting the quick jacks connected up. So hydraulic hose is connected, get the hooks under the car, connect them up to the pump, get the battery connected and hit up. Okay, so let's have a look at this engine bay. There's a lot of cobwebs. As you can see, there's no belt on there. We've got no throttle body, no airbox. We've got no starter motor. All them are under the bonnet. Yeah, oh, look at that. Them are mounts off a 993 RS. Yes, they do fit a 996. So, yeah, pretty rusty as well. But, yeah, let's move on. Okay, so as I said, some of them parts from the back are under the bonnet. So it should be under the bonnet as I remember. We've got, yes, them headlights are bad. Okay, so we've got a box there with some of the bits in. I believe we've got a throttle body in there. We've got the starter motor and some guards. Right, I've connected the battery up. Yeah, I've charged it's not a good battery, but it'll do for our purposes at the moment. And I think what we're going to do is, yeah, we'll turn the ignition on into the first position and see if we get lights on the dash. Stage of that steering wheel. We'll have to do something with that, won't we? Not just because it's green. So right, there's our lights. Oh, that's good. Air conditioners lit up. Yeah, I do remember that we had a flashing between 4th and 2nd, I think it was, sometimes, which means I think that indicates the multifunction switch on the gearbox. But yeah, let's go and test the starter motor out first of all and see if that actually does anything when connected to power. Okay, let's check, just drain the oil and check the oil and filter for any debris, see if there's any showing bits in there. Okay, so the oil's coming out, it looks quite clean actually. There's no nasty bits in there, no nasty bits coming out. There's nothing nasty on the top of the sump plug. So I think let's get the oil filter off. Okay, so let's have a look at this filter. Yeah, it's looking okay. I'll tell you what, I'm going to mark it so I know when I've been through all of the pleats. And let's have a look at a couple. I won't subject you to watching me do this for the whole of the filter, but once I had a look all the way through this, all the way around, there was nothing scaring in there at all. So I think the next stage is probably, let's get the exhaust off and let's go and have a look at the inside of the cylinders. Oh, well, I've very carefully been undoing these screws because they're quite rusty and likely to break, so I work them back and forth, got some WD-40 on, but yeah, they're all coming out quite nicely now. So let me finish getting all of these off for the heat shields that are around the rear silencers. One thing I always do is put bolts back. If I can go back on, I'll put the bolts back on, put the nuts on, because you're not going to lose them at that point if you do that. Okay, so the silencers are coming off now. A couple of bolts on the mounts. These are in upside down, which makes it easier than if they were in the white way round. So these have been off before. Now let's get the heat shield off for the cylinders. Once we get these off on both sides, we can get to the coil packs. And anyway, getting the coil packs off. So there were 6 of those, 3 on each side of the engine, and then we can get the spark plugs out. So let's have a look at these spark plugs. Here comes the first one that I'm whipping out, and yeah, that looks it don't look too bad, to be honest. It's not damaged, and the colours are a bit dark, so it's a bit rich, but that's not surprising. Let's have a look at some of the other, couple of the other spark plugs, and yeah, that one's looking the same, so not too bad. Okay, now the plugs are out, I'm going to get this cheap borescope that cost about £7 off Amazon on a cheap old tablet. Let's get the borescope bit on, the little camera, and we'll have a look inside the cylinders. Okay, so I'm feeding this camera in, and the bore looks pretty good, to be honest. Oh yeah, all the boards look like this, pretty good condition. So there's nothing there that's telling me I don't want to attempt to turn this engine over. I can't see there being a problem. I think the next stage is, that's what we're probably going to do. Yeah, we'll turn the engine over by hand, slowly. All the plugs are out, so the compression's not bad, and yeah, we'll see what it sounds like, see if it turns over nice. Okay, so I think I'll just give all these pulleys a spin to make sure that we didn't have that metallic scraping sound, metal on metal from any of these. And I mean, they all seem to be turning over pretty nicely. I know that's a new water pump that had been put on. Yeah, even the pulleys aren't too bad. Okay, so we've got no bits of metal in the oil, we've got none in the filters, we've got none in the cylinders. Cylinders look good. I think next we're going to take this 24mm socket, stick it on the end of the crank, turn it over, Make sure there's no horrible sounds there. Make sure we can have a good look at the flywheels. It's going through the hole now. We've got the start arms of the motor out. If all looks good, well, we'll take it from there. Okay, so I've marked the bolt there on the flywheel, and I'm going to turn this over by hand and just inspect that flywheel to make sure there was no damage on there that was causing this metallic scraping. Yeah, let's give this a turn. In fact, actually, I'll just give it a bit of turn, but I won't subject you to the whole 360 because, yeah, it was fine. The flywheel looked great. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Okay, so the engine turns over with no nasty scraping, no tight spots, nothing turns over lovely. We've inspected the ring gear, that all seems fine. No noises there. I've spun all the pulleys by hand, they all seem to be fine, nice and tight. I know there was a water leak from one of the bolts, so we're going to have to give that some attention anyway, so we're going to have to drop the engine at some point. But I think what I'm going to do is put the starter motor back on, put everything back together and try and start it and see what it actually does. So yeah, tune in for that video. So until then, take care.